Hey there folks, the name's Antar1011 and today I am bringing you yet another Pokemon Battle Revolution battle. My opponent today is MrNieli13. He and I have had a bunch of PBR battles in the past. I think he and I have battled more than I have battled anyone else. And today we're kicking it off OU single style. He's running a super duper sand team with 2 sand setter uppers. I'm only running 1 sand abuser, or sand user rather. Just kind of weird that he would have 2 sand inducers considering there's no weather wars in Gen 4. Rain teams are really rare, sun teams are really rare, and those weather conditions peter out anyway. I lead off with my Aerodactyl, which is a variant on the Suicide lead set. It runs Roost, basically, so it can be a little bit more useful later on in the match. He actually leads off with Bronzong. I was expecting him to lead off with 1 of his 2 sand inducers, but he doesn't. Instead, he's showing me that he's going for Trick Room. And so I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. I have not yet faced... it's very rare that I see Trick Room in singles. I don't really think it's a very easy strategy to pull off, in my opinion. Now, you might... So here I switch off into my Scarfed Flygon, and you might wonder why the hell would I send out a Scarf Pokemon in a Trick Room situation? And the answer is, I have absolutely nothing to deal with this Bronzong. I have no Fire-type moves on this team except for Fire Blast on this Flygon. And so I'm thinking, well, how the hell am I going to deal with this guy? He deals with himself for me. He goes for the Explosion. It's going to cost me my Flygon, but you know what? I'm okay with that, because I literally had nothing to deal with that Bronzong, except for just heavy-duty attrition. Just keep hitting it with various normally effective moves. And I would have eventually been able to take it out, but this just resolves all that problem. Oh, I guess Roomba, my Magnezone, has Hidden Power Fire, but... yeah, actually, that probably would have been a better move, but oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, he sends out Blissey here. I send out Metagross. Great situation for me because I have the Hammer Arm. This is actually a Trick Room set. I run this exact Metagross on a Trick Room doubles team, and I just didn't feel like making a new Metagross when I was making this team. But it actually proves to be quite effective. It runs Brave Nature, and that way I can run kind of a... since it's Brave and not Adamant, I can run a special type move in addition to my physical moves. Here, I predict his switch quite excellently. Don't go for the Hammer Arm. I go for the Earthquake. Hits him quite hard, gotta say. Looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO. So that's great for me, because this Bronzong is probably, this Dusknoir is probably his 2nd Trick Room setter-upper, so if I can take that out, then I don't have to worry about Trick Room coming back out at any point. He goes for the Shadow Punch. And so I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can take that quite well, and indeed, that barely does a dent. I'm running Expert Belt, so that's why you're not seeing Leftovers Recovery. Really, Leftovers would be the better, Leftovers would be the better item. Anyway, I don't actually take him out with that Earthquake. He survives on just a little tiny, itsy-bitsy bit of HP, but I'm just going to go for the Bullet Punch the next turn to take him out. Now, I do outspeed him. I could have gone for a move that wasn't priority, but just in case he was going for Shadow Sneak and wanted to get off a little bit of damage. No sense losing more HP than I have to. And so now his Dusknoir goes down, and I don't think anyone else on his team has Trick Room. I don't think anyone else on his team can learn Trick Room. Can Blissey? I don't know. Anyway, now, on turn 5 of this battle, with 3 weather inducers between us, finally now the sand gets set up. It's just kind of hilarious to me that it took that long to get the sand up. But yeah, so not going to want to take an Earthquake from this guy. Going to want to switch out, quite obviously. And I'm just going to send out my Celebi to take the Earthquake. It's going to resist it. I'm running pretty much max HP, max defense, so... He actually goes for the Crunch, and I'm like, oh crap, excellent prediction, man. It doesn't do that much. Looks like maybe a 3-hit KO-ish. I've got Leftovers, I've got Recover. Aside from him getting a crit or the defense drop, I've really got nothing to fear from this guy. And that's a great situation for me to be in, because I carry the Seed Bomb. Now, Seed Bomb, why Seed Bomb, why not Leaf Storm? If I'd had Leaf Storm, he would be dead right now. The answer is... because I like it. There's no real good reason, although part of it has to do with the fact that in the sand, rock-type moves get their special defense boosted, so I figured no one really expects physical Celebi anyway. That's kind of a nice thing. So a lot of, these kinds of Pokemon run more defense or special defense EVs than defense EVs, so it's nice. It works out quite well, and it's not really a round to attack. It's designed to basically be a cleric and to be a physical wall, and it does those things quite well. Fearing the hidden power fire, I switch out into my Aerodactyl. I'm not predicting him to go for an electric type move, and I'm predicting basically to get a free-ish switch. Instead, he goes for the T-Wave. Holy crap, was not expecting him to go for T-Wave, especially against a Pokemon who has Natural Cure and could just switch out. Anyway, here I'm predicting him to have me... I'm predicting that he's going to predict me to switch out, so I go for the Earthquake. I'm like, yeah, I'll take him out. He does not fall for the bait, goes for the Thunderbolt, and he is going to take out my Aerodactyl. That's a kind of a shame. I really would have preferred to be able to do some nice sweeping with that Aerodactyl, considering it's so damn fast. But oh well. Now I send out my own Metagross, thinking maybe he doesn't carry the hidden power fire. So I really should have gone for the sub here. It was really a mistake not to go for the sub. But I decided I'm just going to go for the hidden power fire in case he wants to switch out. If we both have Magnet Pull, then he can switch out if he wants to. So I go for the hidden power fire. Does a lot of damage, does not actually KO. He goes for the Thunder Wave, or actually if he switched out, then sub would have been a better move. I have no idea why I didn't just go for the sub. I guess didn't want to waste some turn in case he did have hidden power fire. Anyway, so I'm paralyzed, I am at full HP, so he goes for the Thunderbolt, showing me he doesn't have hidden power fire. Does actually a good amount, that Thunderbolt right there. I go for the hidden power fire, take him out. Luckily I didn't get fully paralyzed. Not that it really would have been that big of a deal, I just would have taken him out the next turn. So his Magnezone is now down. My Metagross has nothing to fear now. Not that it really would have had anything to fear before, considering he didn't carry hidden power fire and I carry the Hammer Arm. Anyway, whatever. This thing is now out. I actually stay in and go for the Explosion, just figuring he's probably going to go for the Crunch, thinking that I'm going to send out Celebi, and whatever, Magnezone has done its job. I get fully paralyzed. Here he shows me that he must be banded, I guess. Maybe Scarfed, although then I would have thought he would outrun my Celebi. I'm really not sure what the deal is. The damage calcs say that he's not banded, or at least he's not banded running max attack. But anyway, I go for the Explosion, take him out. Honestly, that was a bad move. Hidden Power Fire at that range of health would probably have KO'd as well. I'm really curious what that Hippowdon was running, why he didn't switch up his move. Maybe he was figuring that I'd switch out the next turn and he actually wasn't locked in, but he wasn't getting leftover recovery and he wasn't taking Life Orb damage, so I just don't know. Anyway, on the blind switch, gonna send my Metagross back out. He sends out Blissey. I think I screwed up the... No, okay, never mind. I send out Metagross, he sends out Blissey, and I'm just going to be able to go for the Hammer Arm, considering he doesn't have a Ghost type anymore. He could switch out into his Tyranitar. Tyranitar is not going to enjoy taking Hammer Arm either. He is down to his last two Pokemon, both of which are weak to fighting type moves. This Blissey goes for the Flamethrower, which hits quite decently hard. I was kind of impressed there. I was also impressed that he outsped me. And then I see he's running Life Orb. So this is the weirdest Blissey I have ever seen. I don't want to call it effective because it's not like he got the KO, but I am able to take out his Blissey with a Hammer Arm, and that's great for me. So Blissey goes down, and now my opponent is down to his last Pokemon, which is Tyranitar. Considering I've gotten off a Hammer Arm, unless this guy's running Iron Ball, which why the hell would he do that? All it is a Trick Room Team, maybe he'd do that. I figured that my only chance is to get a crit on Bullet Punch. Well, I mean, I don't get a crit, and that's okay because I've got a bunch more Pokemon left, and he can take me out with Flamethrower all he wants. That's really okay. So my Metagross is down, but I've got two Pokemon left, including my Tyranitar, who should be able to deal with him quite easily. I actually go out to Celebi. Celebi is specifically EV trained to outrun Jolly non-Scarf Tyranitar, and indeed I do outrun him. I go for the Seed Bomb, and that is going to deliver me the final KO of the match, and that's a victory for me. So great game, MrNieli13. Folks in the audience, if you still play PBR and want to battle with me, send me a PM. I would be more than happy to battle you if our schedules work out. So that's all, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe.